Welcome to PocketGreen, the podcast exploring sustainable projects in Vietnam. We will meet with actors of change in agriculture, waste management, and education to understand how and why they do things differently, and how we can join them to reduce our ecological footprint. Today, we will meet with Alex from Gagaco, who's helping people setting up organic gardens at home. Okay. Hi, Alex.
Morning, Jobii.
How are you?
I'm very good. It's very early. It's not loud at all. No noises. Just the birds.
That's good.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah. My name is Alex, and I'm the co-founder of Gagaco. Gagaco is an urban gardening company based in Vietnam, in the city of Saigon, and we are in District 2.
Okay. And just before talking about Gagaco, can you tell us a bit more about your story? So where you come from, what brought you to Vietnam?
Yeah, sure. My name is Alex. I told you that. I'm from Germany. I was born and raised here, but my father is from Vietnam. So I always had a bit of a relationship to Vietnam. And when I graduated from high school, I wasn't really sure what I was doing after that. So I decided to go to Australia, and then I experienced a lot of work on the farm there. And then after that, I decided to study agriculture.
Okay.
So with that in mind, I also, after Australia, I also went back to Vietnam after 19 years. After 19 years, I was here for the first time.
Yeah.
And I saw all my family again and just fell in love with the country. So even during my studies back home in Germany, I always came back once a year here. And I knew that I wanted to come back here, and I wanted to live here.
Okay.
And I saw what was going on, and I knew I wanted to change it in a way, because it's still under development. So I wanted to change it, and then once I graduated, I just came here to visit my family initially. But then I ran into these two guys that created that company. And then I talked to them, and the next day I joined them.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm here. 3 years later.
Yeah.
Still running it.
So it's been 3 years since you came back to Vietnam.
Yeah, pretty much 3 years. 3 years and 2 months maybe.
And you studied agriculture in Australia or in Germany?
In Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any specific topic around agriculture that you studied,
No, that was just basic to get a basic knowledge about agriculture.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you went to practice in Australia.
I did that before, and then fell in love with
Okay.
I loved nature before, but then just in general, the growing food and being in nature and reconnecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said when you came to Vietnam, you wanted to be part of it, part of some kind of change here.
Yeah.
So, what is it that you noticed when you arrived that you said wow, I want to do things differently?
If you look around, everybody is concerned, literally everybody is concerned about food safety. They don't know where the food is coming from. They don't know how it's produced. And I know I'm not gonna, we're not gonna be on large scale or anything like that, but I know, we can have little impacts on each person and can contribute. We can show them how it's produced and how it's done properly, and that it can be done locally.
So the idea is really to educate people.
Yeah.
Around how to grow their own foods properly, without fertilizers or intrants.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is back then, let's say for example my grandma, she knows how to grow stuff, and that's usually the case for most grandparents. As they grow up, they always had to grow something and they knew how to do it. But then as the generations progress, usually that knowledge gets lost, and then nobody knows it anymore. And then I want to bring that back. So everybody should know how to grow stuff.
That's great, and that's perfect transition to talk about Gagaco. So you said so when you came, you met these two guys,
Yeah.
and you joined them. So can you tell us a little bit more about how that happened? Like how did you meet them? And
Yeah, it's fun. Like these days, internet is everything. So I was just here. I think I got here the first week, and then you go out and have fun in the city, but then um yeah, I got bored and I wanted to do something. I wanted to work. I was only planning here to stay for 3 months, but then I texted those guys because I just found them on Facebook, and they literally did what I wanted to do anyway. Like after I come back to Vietnam, and I texted them and they said come over and we talked, and then we just next day we started working together.
okay, well that's great.
Yeah, and then that's pretty much the story. We kept on working. It's just that one guy, after 1 year, he lost his passion for the work and he wanted to succeed, go in a different way.
Okay.
And that happened a year later again with the other guy. So both quit over time, but we still good friends. They come visit regularly and we talk.
Okay.
Yeah, and they maybe want to do also stuff again in the future.
And so, can you like explain a little bit like what's Gagaco exactly, and what you're doing with Gagaco?
So right now, I would say, yeah, we do a lot of things, but I would say we're an urban gardening company. We help people to set up their own gardens at home
Okay.
and show them how to grow vegetables. But we also try to help with education. So we will also work closely with schools because usually they don't have any programs in place. So we will go in and try to see what we can do
Okay.
to set up a program.
Within the school.
Yeah, exactly.
And you work with corporations as well?
Not really, not yet. But I know it's gonna happen in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one thing. Then there are always other projects that we really trying to get into waste management, because that just goes together with doing gardening. We need compost, for example, and that compost is just created from waste, food waste especially, and that and that's abundant in Vietnam. Um,
And so you, I remember when we met before, you told me that you also try to do like a kind of a community compost here.
Yeah.
Like.
yeah, yeah. I still want to do it. I'm talking to schools to see where we could do it and if they would be willing to maybe give us a space, something to do it. Because renting is not cheap. That's why we were hoping to maybe get a plot or something where we could do it and then encourage the community to do composting together. Because it requires management and we don't have the manpower yet.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also, like, feeling is that like people sometimes are reluctant when they live in an apartment because they feel, well, it's gonna smell or
Exactly.
things like that, which is not true.
Yeah.
So I do composting on my
Yeah.
balcony, and
Yeah.
it's all fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally had a client texting yesterday and she wanted to do composting. And her first question was, does it smell?
Yeah.
And then it's just about management. Yeah, and then of course you gotta know the knowledge, but that's where we come in. We help on how, like we tell them how to do it, and then it's just fine.
But
Yeah.
it's funny as well because just on the composting, I feel like many more people do it, although not really talk about it. Because I found like some people like selling, the lawn brick, the worms, like
Right.
the lawn brick worms, like
Yeah.
in District 2 as well.
Yeah.
And they had like so many. It was like a regular business.
Right,
for
right,
them.
right.
So I was like, okay, so probably like people do composting at home somehow.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, yeah, that's the thing. Like, often stuff is happening, but other people just don't know about it. Like, there's so many knowledge around nowadays, but it's just not shared. So, with you coming in here, I think it's a great opportunity to share the knowledge.
Yeah, no, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so, getting back to the gardening part of Gagaco, so you teach people how to grow their own vegetables, but they need to have like some space at home, right, to
Right.
do so.
Yeah.
And but they don't need to have a garden. They can do it on the balcony as well.
Yeah. So right now, most of our customers are in apartment houses, and they just have the balcony. And then it took us quite a time to find the best way to maximize that space, because you're not like, we can just be honest, like you're not gonna be self-sufficient on a small balcony,
Of course.
but you can grow like very basic stuff. Like often most like herbs are very very high in return of investment because you don't need that much and they grow quite easily. So it's a really great way, instead of buying like those plastic bags in the market, just growing your fresh herbs on the balcony. And then every time you need them, you just go out and snip them off.
And also, like a lot of people here, I feel, are kind of not fond of, but like looked into hydroponics.
Yeah.
They also do like some
Yeah.
kind of when they have like a rooftop or
Yeah.
balcony.
Yeah.
So like, what would be like according to you, like why having like more like a real garden rather than hydroponics? What would be like if people like were like undecided between both? Like,
Right, right. I would say a hydroponic is probably more technical,
okay.
because you gotta have a basic knowledge on how to run it, and then I'm not completely like, I'm against it. It's great, like growing a lot of vegetables, but then what do you do in hydroponics is you have a solution, you have a water, you have the water, and then you add a solution of chemicals,
Okay.
and then that's what feeds the plants. But that's why I'm just more a fan of growing in the soil.
Yeah, because it's like what you do is purely organic, right?
Yeah.
So you don't use any fertilizers, like
Yeah.
that's a huge difference actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we often get asked, like, do you use any chemicals? And then I'm really trying to explain that there's absolutely no point of using chemicals, because it's not gonna work in your favor. Like there's no, like, I don't see any benefits at all from that, because you're just hurting nature, and then in the long term it's just hurting the soil, it's hurting the plants, and it's not gonna be better for you.
Yeah,
Like,
can you like maybe like try to explain this a little bit more? I mean, I'm very convinced. But
Yeah.
Like some people like maybe don't really know like why like those fertilizers are like harming the soil and why it's like not helping.
yeah,
Because very often like when you see the farmers here or like even people,
Yeah.
they find it's like really easy like just to put like some fertilizers because
Right.
it grows on its own.
Right.
But they maybe not realize that it's actually also harming.
yeah, because they often get that short-term boost of growth, and is the synthetic fertilizer on the one hand, and then the chemical pesticides, herbicides they use to kill the insects
Okay.
that are disturbing the plants. But whenever you apply, these things are basically salt. So it's salt that you apply on the soil, and the natural soil is just full of life, like all kinds of microbes, microorganisms live in there, which make the plants grow so great. Like look at all the forest, like look at any forest, it just grows naturally. There's nobody going in doing anything, and it grows just naturally. It grows trees without any fertilizer. Like a tree, just looking at the size of a tree, like that plant grows without any fertilizers. So it's really about the biology in the soil. So the biology is the thing that feeds the plants. It's not the fertilizer. It's the biology that makes the nutrients available in the soil for the plant. And it's not the fertilizer. Plants don't feed on nutrients, they feed on biology. So what you need is the biology, but with the fertilizers you kill biology.
Okay. So you just give like some nutriments, but you kill the soil at the same time, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically like a drug. You make them addicted to drugs.
Okay.
And then we're so close to plants. If you don't get the right nutrition, you get sick.
Yeah.
And that's when the insects come in. Plants get sick. You got the insects, and then they don't know what to do, and then they just spray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I like the image.
Yeah.
Like it's like an addiction.
Yeah.
You know, when you get like fertilizers, like being on drugs.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, I think it can talk to a lot of people. And so and right now like so yeah, I think we understand like more like kind of also like the values that you're driven by, like with Gagaco, like really like organic food, like make sure that people know how to grow it, and I remember also when we talked last time, and I see it like behind you, you also have like a woodwork here.
Right. Yeah, that's true. We make wooden planters because, well, as I said, we mostly work in apartment houses and people's houses where they want to come home and then they want to go out to the balcony and want to see something nice. And since we're in Vietnam, plastic is just abundant, and then the most materials that are available to grow plants in is just plastic boxes.
Okay.
So we wanted to be different. We always want to be different. So we started doing wooden planters. And because we couldn't find anyone else that's doing it, so we just decided to do it on our own.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of work, no?
It is. I mean, we're doing so many things, but it's just, I love to do a lot of things, and it gives me, it's just great to be challenged every day and come up with solutions.
And how many people are working with Gagaco right now?
Right now I have one guy that helps me with the woodwork, one guy that helps me here with the plants, another lady that helps me with project management,
Okay.
and one girl that works part-time to help me with any computer stuff.
Okay, so around 5 people, like
3.5, yeah.
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 Okay. And so, what would you like? Recommend for people who are interested, like into like eating better food, like food safety, but who like are used to like going to the supermarket and buy the stuff there, like how to basically like make the kind of the leap to go like a little bit like more forward, like not forward, but like a little bit further, and like start growing your own food, like try it, like.
Right. I mean, just get in touch with us. And then now, like, really, just get in touch with us. Even you don't have to, like, I don't even want you to purchase anything from us, but get in touch and we can have a talk. And you can do your own stuff at home, and we just guide you like that.
And do you organize like tours or like like workshop visits or something like for people like to who are interested, like to understand a little bit better, or?
We don't do any workshops right now. We just short on manpower. But I would love to. We have volunteers that are texting us and they want to come in. And we have one or two ladies coming in regularly and they're giving us a hand. But anyone that wants to learn more is just welcome to come here and have a look.
Okay.
Just like you came here.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here and then give you a tour and see. And if you want to help, just come in and we find a way.
No, but that's good because I know that a lot of people are also interested in doing some volunteering here in Vietnam, but they don't know like very often like the organization where to do it, and sometimes it takes time, like especially after like kind of the social distancing campaign. So it's it's good to hear because I think like people will be interested.
Oh yeah. Like often it's just people don't know about us. We try to stay a bit under the radar currently because after the virus thing, we had a lot of work coming up because people actually, they had to stay at home and they actually start to realize, oh, what I'm gonna do with all the time, and they started doing what they wanted to do for a long time. So they got in touch with us and they said, okay, I want to grow my own vegetables at home.
Yeah, and that's actually also like a topic we didn't discuss, but in terms of like psychology, like it's like studies show now that also it helps you feel better.
Yeah.
Also like cures anxiety, like to actually like grow your own things, like plants, vegetable, and to see them growing in front of you. So that's also actually like a good way to stay like mentally healthy.
Absolutely, like that's. I mean, for some, even we have clients, they don't know what they do much, but just spending time in the garden is just pure therapy. Like they work office jobs or whatever, and they just after they come home, they just want to spend time outside. And then if they actually get to grow stuff, that's even better. Like that's the biggest return there. It's the biggest reward.
Yes, I completely agree. We're starting like to grow things on our vegetables.
Yeah.
And you can see you take care of them now as like little babies everywhere.
That's
like,
every
oh,
time.
what happened to you? It's like no, that's okay. And so what would be like the next steps for Gagaco right now? Like
Next step, yeah, as I said, we pretty much set with the setting up gardens and everything. But now the bigger step is gonna be getting into waste management.
Okay.
Tried a couple of ways. I sent out, I drove out buckets to clients and they collected their waste and I picked it up again and brought it back to our place, which wasn't really working out. Right now we have people dropping off their waste. They either send it or they come by themselves and drop it off.
Okay.
And then we process that. But like really what I want to work on, like getting a plot and then where people could just come by, where it's more centralized in the local area,
Yeah.
and they just drop it off and we manage it. Or
Okay.
they help us to manage it.
So kind of like a community
Yeah,
compost,
yeah.
basically.
A central drop off.
Yeah. Which then you would need to educate people on what they can throw there. And
Yeah,
throw,
exactly.
not to end up with like
Yeah,
plastic and water
yeah.
bottles, I guess.
Yeah, educating starts all with educating, but you gotta start somewhere because I don't see anything has been done here. So someone gotta start something.
Yeah, no, that's really great. Yeah. And if you had to recommend maybe like one or two books for people who are like interested into like books or like videos or like documentaries, I don't know, like about for people who are interested into like gardening, like starting to learn a little bit. Like,
Right. I watch a lot of YouTube, but what I watch I think is more in the scientific area. So I don't know. There's a guy, John Kempf. I think he's revolutionizing agriculture,
Okay.
but that's more on a large scale. But you can learn so much from that guy, and he really show you what it's all about. But if you just wanna get get an idea about gardening, I think they just recently came out a masterclass about the guy in America, which just started turning lawns, like city lawns, just turning into veggie gardens.
Oh,
And I think that's a perfect way to start.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember his name or?
I don't know, but if you type in masterclass growing, there's only one guy that talks about growing stuff. He pops up.
Okay.
I haven't watched it myself, but there's yeah.
But it would be like a good way to start.
Yeah. Just go on YouTube and there's Curtis Stone. He's a great guy that started the whole, I think, farmers market garden thing in America.
Okay.
So where people actually now start growing in their own backyard and then supply local businesses.
That's
So
great.
they become little farmers in their community, and then that's really locally grown,
Okay.
and they make a living from that. They're not just doing it as a hobby; they're making a living from that. On their just growing in their backyard.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything you would like to add?
No, I'm just really grateful for what's going on, for what I have, and for the people that I'm surrounded with, and they're really supportive. And if you want to learn more, just come in and even if it's not about gardening, talk to me. We just connected with so many other businesses that we maybe can help with. Just like we talked about earlier with the plastic waste.
Yeah.
Plastic People, the company that started recycling plastic waste. So great guys. So I want you to meet them all.
Thanks a lot, Alex.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
If you like this episode and are interested in learning more about Gagaco, you can visit their Facebook page and reach out to Alex. He is always very responsive and eager to help. Good gardening!